everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Platform App Builder Certification Series. So today we will be talking about the formula fields, which is a very important topic and very simple at the same time. So what is formula field, right? Why do we need a formula field, right? So formula field is something very similar to a custom field. It is a custom field, but there is a difference, right? So let me give you a very simple example. Let's say I have a beer object, right? And the purpose of the beer object is to track the number of beers that's been shipped to a customer, right? So let's say we are selling three kinds of beers: porter, lager, and pilsner, right? So, and let's say we define the price of a porter as $4, pilsner as $5, and the lager as $3.50, right? So now you wanted to obviously display the price of the beer, right? Amount in the price of the beers has been sold using a beer object. But the thing is that you do not want the user to manually calculate, right? So in that case, the formula field comes into picture. So what the formula field will do is you enter the quantity, right, on an object, and it will multiply the quantity times the price of the beer, unit price of a beer. So let's say if it's porter, it's $4. So let's say if you're shipping 20 pints of porter to a customer, so the price will be 20 times 4, right? So that's what displayed on that beer object, and it's in a read-only form. So you can do computation, right? Then if you wanted to work out a length of a text, you can do that. You can, if you wanted to, let's say, pick up a value from a pick list, you can do that. And if you wanted to extract a value of a field from a related object, you can do that using formula fields. So formula fields are very handy when you're using a SQL query. But that being said, you cannot use formula field in a group by, right? If you're using a SQL, that's one of the limitations, right? So first thing first, please log into your org. If you do not have a free org, I would highly encourage you to please register for a free org. I've talked about it zillions of times, right? Now it should be obvious to you, right? Whenever you work on Salesforce, you need to work on an org, right? Cool. Okay, so the first thing first, I logged into my org, right? And depending upon the time of the year, so you will be directed to, the screen, and you might see different options, right? That's what I said, depending upon the time of the year. Okay, so if you do not know how to go to setup, right, you can go to this gear cog icon at the top right-hand corner, and you can pick up setup, right, and we'll take you to this page. Nice and easy, right? Okay, now let's go to Object Manager. And so I've already typed beer before, so I have different custom object here. So I can go to beer Friday here, right? And let's look at the field here first. What are all the fields we got, right? So this is a custom object which I created in one of the episodes. If you haven't watched my video series related to Platform App Builder Certification, I would encourage you to watch it if you are planning to take App Builder Certification. Cool. Right. So what I wanted to do, right? So I have a contact object here, right? So I have a contact. Now I wanted to get the name of a contact on this object, right? So so let me explain to you what I meant by that. Okay. So let me open the dev console here. So, you don't have to remember how to write a SQL query, or you don't have to use the dev console, but I wanted to demonstrate what I'm trying to do so that it makes it very clear for you, right? Now, so go to this query editor. Okay, all right, don't worry about the code, right? So, okay, so go to the query editor. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to close the code, right? Not to confuse you guys, okay? So type select name from, right? I want the beer object, right? Okay, so I want a beer Friday, right? Okay, now Beer Friday, right? So you can get this one. So it will. So hopefully, so you got this 4, 5, 6, right? So this is the value you got here. Yeah, right? Okay, now I have another field here called contact here, right? So you can actually go to get the contact here, right? Now, see, this is a contact, right? Very nice, handy option, right? Now, you can actually use the contact, using SQL query to get, the name of the contact, something like that, right? So like Mark Muller test, right? You can do something like that. Very nice and easy. But at the same time, you can do that using a formula field as well. Sometimes when you wanted to write a complex query, right? This is a very, very basic query. When you wanted to write a complex SQL query, you might have to use a formula field to get the value of a related get the value of a field of a related object, in our case the name, right? If it's a deep nested or whatever, right? So you need to keep into consideration when to use formula field, when not to. So in this case you don't have to, right? Because it's a pretty basic query. But that being said, I'll teach you how to actually use the formula field to get the value out of this the contact, right? So what we're going to do, we go here, go to field and definition. We're going to do and so we're going to go to formula here, right? And we're going to go next, right? So now when you click on next, you see the formula has different data type, right? We have checkbox, you have currency, you have date, you have date time, your numbers, your percentage, text and time, right? In our case, we are interested in text because we are after the name field. So we can say contact name, right? Okay, so leave it as such. Next. Right, now this is a place where you will spend most of the time if you're working with the formula field. So you have a simple formula editor, right? So we're not interested in the simple formula editor, right? We are interested in advanced formula editor, right? This is where all the magic happens, right? Where you have insert field. So when you click on insert field, so this is the Beer Friday, that's a root field. So, and it will take you to here. And you can see the contact we have, right? If you select contact, it will only insert the contact object. And that's not what we want. Like if you'll get a contact ID basically. So let's go to this one, contact, right? And you can see you can obviously go to a lot of options here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually look for the last name, right? This is what I was interested into. Where is the last name? Okay, let me see. Okay, right. First name, right, then you have last name, right? So I'm interested after, right? Okay, that's strange. Oh, sorry. It's my fault. I haven't pushed insert here, so can happen mistake. My apologies for that. Okay, now insert. Right, so we have the last name inserted here. Nice, right? Now, one thing you'll notice, right? The contact has linked to account as well, right? So if you wanted to drill into an account name, you can do that as well, right? So you can add, you can drill, and if an account has another object, you can do that as well, right? So that's one of the advantage of the using formula field, right? And then you have insert operator. So if you wanted to add, if you wanted to add two numbers, you have to subtract. If you want to compare, not equals to if statement, you can do that as well. So that's where the functions comes here, right? If you can actually scroll down to have a category, right? If you want the logical, then you have if statement, right? So this is how the help, so you can actually look at the help documentation here, right? Help for this function. It will take you here. And actually, let me open this in a different tab. Right, for some reason it's blocked. Okay, let it load whenever it loads. For some reason my org is very slow for whatever reason. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much you can do in this case. very basic. So you can do the case statement, you can do and, and you can do is null, you can is blank. A lot of functionality you can use here. This is for the logical, right? Then you can do date and time, right? Add months, date, then you can do maths, right? Absolute ceiling, min, max, right? And then you can do text, right? And then you can do, the advanced stuff, right? Currency rate. So kind of stuff you can do, right? So, and if you're not sure about the syntax, you can obviously check the syntax here, right? And and then you can say next, right? And I can make it visible to all, and I can say next, and I can say save, right? So that's pretty much saved. Now, let's see so we have created this called contact name. So you can see that's the formula text. Now let's go back to a query here. So, and instead of this, we just replace it here. Contact name, right? And you can do so, there you are, contact name, right? Nice and easy. So yeah, this is one of the functionality you can use it. Formulas are very handy. So as I said, that if you wanted to drill deeper into an object, then you can use the formula field, because if you use the query, right, as the query gets super complicated, you might have to rely on the formula field. So this is one of the functionality, keep into consideration, right? Okay. Now, let's look at one of the objects here. I have one more beer object. So I want to demonstrate something else, because there's a custom. Okay, so beer. So I think it's a beer sold. Let's look at these are the custom objects. So we might, okay, so this is a formula field called currency, there where I have actually worked out the formula field. If you remember, I talked about a scenario where you are selling beer to customer, and then your amount will be worked out based on the formula field, right? Because you don't obviously want the sales team to punch in the amount value, because they can make mistakes, right? So this is how I created a amount sold. So pretty much the straightforward stuff, right? You create new and then choose the formula field exactly the way I've demonstrated. There's no difference. Instead of text, I've choose the currency. That's pretty much it. So let's go to the formula field just to demonstrate the formula I've written. Okay, and you go down here. See, this is what I've done. And so what I've done, right? So this is a very simple thing. So I'm checking, because I have a pick list value where I have a beer type value, where I have a porter, right? And I have two kinds of beers. I have one is a porter and one is a lager, right? So what I'm doing is that if a user select the pick list value of porter, then multiply a quantity with the fixed price, that's a $10, and or multiply, if you pick anything else apart from porter, multiply the quantity with 8, right? That's the unit price of a beer. So that's how you can use a formula field in terms of a calculation if you wanted to compute this stuff behind the scenes. So that's one of the way you can use formula field, and you will often find similar usage using formula field. And validation is another stuff where you can actually use the formula field as well. So validation rules, we will talk about it in our next episode about the validation fields. So today, just to give you a heads up what formula field is about, how to use it. So I've used the if statement. You can use case. You can use other stuff as well. So just please go through the functions here. It's very important, right? So you can use if you wanted to use the and statement, so you can use and. So you can go down here, right, and you can see insert selected. So this is how you can use it. If and so this is pretty straightforward, right? So like the formula is an operator function. So right, so you can see the formula operators here, right? So the help file. So you get a lot of examples here, which is very, very handy. This help is amazing, right? I would highly encourage you to please check this out. it will help you. So the way to go to this help, there's a help on this function here, as you can see. Click on this, it will take you to help, and you can easily find this information documentation, right? So that's pretty much the easiest stuff on the formula side. Right, so that's pretty much I wanted to talk about the formula field. So I would highly encourage you to play around with it if you're new to formula field. It's important from an exam point of view. It's important from your understanding point of view, because you need to understand what formula field is all about, right? You will encounter a scenario where you have to use the formula field. So please do not skip this topic. If you find it overwhelming, that's perfectly okay, right? Because formula field, it's like a computation field, right? If you came from a programming background, if you know what's a calculator fields, so similar like concept you can use, right? Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. Greetings and adios from New Zealand. Take care. Bye bye.